Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's Life Conversations with a Twist. I actually think this will be the last time I introduce the podcast that way. I have lots to fill you in on, lots of things have happened this year. I always love doing a reflection podcast at the end of the year to really just summarize my year for you, for my listeners. I try to give a little bit of things that I've learned along the way, but also it's a great reflection for myself. And now I have this recording for my whole life. And my goal is to someday go back and listen to them and see how my growth has changed over the years, how my businesses have changed over the years, how I've changed over the years, and just to see the different things that come up along the way. So buckle in. I hope you enjoy these podcasts as much as I do. I actually really do find it very therapeutic to kind of walk through what the life has been over a certain period of time or a topic. So I'm excited to be here today. I'm coming to you at the beginning of 2026, my last podcast under the brand Life Conversations with a Twist. And I just want to say my podcast is not changing. My podcast is still going to stay the same. I'm still going to have amazing women on telling their story, being authentic, showing up as themselves, embracing their journey, inspiring and empowering women. That is what this podcast will continue to be. It's just going to have a new name. To be super transparent, I've never really loved the name. It was one of those things where I knew that I wanted to do this podcast and you just throw some names at it. And that was the one that had resonated with me at the time. I also came up with that name when I was hoping for more in-person podcast interviews where I would sit with like these two couches behind me, have a glass of wine, have a cup of coffee, and really have a authentic, true conversation with these women. We all know that this podcast started when it was COVID, and so Zoom was the place that it landed, and that's where it continues to be. There will be a day that I will get in person and do podcasts. It was funny. Last night we were just watching another podcast and they had this like massive studio and they're having these great conversations. And I'm like, yes, I want to be there someday. I would love to have these women conversations in person because I think there's some, it's just, it comes over a lot different. I think the interviews will be more natural. But for now, because I interview women all over the world, different time zones, all over. I just found that Zoom still continues to be the best platform for now. And so that is where it's going to stay for now. But it will have a new name. And I have some ideas, but I'm not going to share them yet. I'm actually taking a huge risk and bringing on a team to really help me understand where the podcast is going, help me, review the things that I'm doing, understand where I can improve, where I can change things, and really take it to the next level. Ultimately, if I can sit and look at everything I do in my life, the number one thing that I love doing is podcasting. I love showing up. I love interviewing these women. It's so good for my soul. It inspires me. And I get the amazing experience to meet women all over, having different stories and different journeys. And so for me, that is a focus that I want to continue down. I want to be known for a podcaster, and I'm just going to throw that out there that I want to be the number one podcaster in Sonoma County. That is my goal. That's where I'm headed. And someday I would love to be a Mel Robbins podcast and be nominated for a global I can't even say it. She was nominated for an award. And I'm so proud of her. And that is honestly where I want to be someday. So I'm putting it out there because I do believe in manifesting and I do believe in taking risk. And I'm taking a big risk by investing in money to be able to take this podcast in the direction that I want it to go and still continue to show up and meet women. And I have a whole list of ones in the pipelines and I have a whole list of ones that I want to have on. So stay tuned for that. You're probably listening to this and there will be a little bit of a break in between the next couple months while I rebrand, but I will be sharing some of my favorite podcasts. I've obviously, have interviewed so many amazing women, and there's not one interview that I don't remember or ones that I didn't learn something from, but there are ones that I definitely think that they need another shot at people listening. So over the next couple of months, I will be sharing some of my favorites. I did just do a quick little total because I was curious where we were today in this podcast world. So I am going on in July, will be my fifth year of doing podcasting, and I've shown up every single week for 4.5 years, which is such an amazing thing. It is a huge commitment. I am thankful for all the women who have come on the show. I am so thankful for all the people who've reached out to want to be on the show. I am so thankful for all the listeners. So, as of today, well, as of today, when you are hearing this, right now I'm projected to do 196, which means I need to get four more in the next few weeks, and I think I can do that. So, I will have had 200 episodes, which means I will have 153 guests that I've interviewed. 153 women have come forward, told us about their story, told us about their journey, and I am so thankful for all of them. I've wrapped up, this will be my fourth season. I can't wait for what's to come. And this honestly is a big update for me because we'll dive into that here in a second of how I got to this point and how I decided where I want to put my focus. Having some coffee because I need it this morning. Okay. Over 2025, I just want to give a little recap. 2025 for me was really about getting clarity. My word of the year last year was clarity, I believe. I'm pretty sure, but that was what I was really intentionally looking for. I I've had the hustle culture my whole career. Ever since I started working, since I was 15 years old, I've always worked. I've always had more than one job. I think I get that from my dad. My dad always worked really hard, and I think I just saw that, and I just love working. I love being a part of things. I'm always interested and intrigued to try new things and to explore new things. And so I think that's why I've always held so many jobs over the years or gotten my hands in so many different career paths. And this year was really a year for me to really look at the things that I'm doing, which is a lot, as many people know, and really put a focus on where I want to go. I love the Connection Hive. It is my baby that came 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, because I knew that I wanted to help other businesses. And I still want to do that. However, I just need to figure out what that looks like. I've had some really great contracts over the years. I've been involved in an amazing, nonprofit. I've been involved with events. I've done really cool projects that I'm very proud of, and I love every single one of them. But I've realized that when I give that much time to a client, it takes away from the things that I really love doing. So, over reflections and diving in and really looking at things, the podcast is truly where I want to go. I want to continue to do this. I want to continue to show up. I want to elevate it. I want to have a really cool women who no one gets access to tell their stories. I want to be known as a moderator. I want people to reach out to me and want me to do more work in this world. I love interviewing. I'm so curious. I love asking questions and digging deeper and asking the questions that not necessarily everybody would want to ask. And so that is where my passion is. In the meantime, the Connection Hive needs to be something that still feels my soul. I have had over 25 years in the events industry focused on events, sales, marketing, business development, growing relationships. That is where my experience is, and I still love it. I still love giving advice to people. I still love working with a project or a client and helping them understand the importance of different things or collaborating with different people and helping other businesses grow through collaborations. And so the Connection Hive is kind of on like a little bit of a pause, if you would say, just to kind of understand and navigate what that looks like. I did this year get into a mastermind group that really helped me understand the business a little bit more and understand where I could be of value. And so I did create the Connection Clarity Hour, which is basically an hour meeting. You sign up with me, you get me for an hour. There's a it's basically a pre-questionnaire for you to fill out prior to the call for me to understand where you're at in your business. Where do you want to go? What do you love doing? What's not working for you? And really put together a plan that I can present to you. And then you get access to me for a month. I check in with you. You can ask questions, and then we do a 30-day follow-up call. So all of that is what is included in the Connection Clarity Hour. And I'm hoping to get a few of those because I do love doing that. Also in that I will connect you to two people in my network, whether that's a business opportunity or a coach or somebody you might need in your business, like a bookkeeper or a CPA. I really want to be able to use my network and introduce people to the connections that they need. So that is the Connection Clarity Hour. That is ready to go. You can go to my website. You can book me. It's kind of an easy way to learn a little bit more about me and the work that I do, but really have another person kind of overseeing, helping you understand your business a little bit more. So that is set up. You can go to my website. Again, you can book me for that. And then I'm also trying to figure out another way where, which I have done for other clients, is they can work with me for 3 months. Similar thing, we dive into their business. We do biweekly calls. We do check-ins. I'm basically like an accountability coach, but also somebody just to like help you move your business forward, help you understand and create some new ideas and strategies to grow your business. So that's almost in the works. But what I learned in the last actually couple weeks is I need to share all the things that I've known and all the things I've learned over the years to the universe, because I think a lot of what I've learned can be applied to any type of business. Of course, my expertise is in the events industry, but I feel like I am not doing my community well by not educating people. So I'm working through what that looks like, whether that's a YouTube channel where you can come listen to me, or social media channel, or newsletters, and possibly a course. So I'm working through that to understand a little bit more of what that's going to look like, because I do want to give that to people. I want to educate people, especially people coming into the industry. If you're new to the industry and you want to understand how you grow your business, how you grow relationships, like that's the work that I want to do. So that is something I actually just it was like aha moment last week for me. So working through that. So those are kind of my two businesses that I'm, working toward. I know most of you know that I do women's retreats. Currently, I'm putting that on hold. I don't know what's to come for that. I definitely still want to do that, but right now, with the other focuses, I really need to kind of put that aside. And there's also been some talks about doing some smaller mastermind women business owner groups, and kind of playing around with what that looks like. But really, at the end of the day, I have to be true to who I am and what fuels my soul and what wakes me up every day. And really, it's the podcast and helping businesses. So those two things will be my focus. I have said absolutely no to all events. Most people have reached out to me and given me some opportunities. As much as I love them, I don't want to do them anymore. And I've been very, very clear about that in my head, of that just needs to go away. The third thing is Set and Strike, which is my event labor company. We have been we're going on our fourth season, and that business is thriving very, very well. And I'm very proud of it. I love the clients that we have. We love the team that we have created. And I want to continue to grow that. I know this is like a very specific need that the events industry needs. And I want to continue to grow that, which kind of excites me, because sales was always something that I've always loved, especially, from my last career of like going out and meeting clients and talking to them about collaborations and partnering with them. And I love that experience. And so I still get to do that. but I'm going to put a lot more focus in Set and Strike in the next 6 months to really get that to a place where we have some new clients, where, we get calls for when there's lots of needs for that. So that is definitely another focus of mine. So all of that to say, that is where I'm at in my career. That's what you're going to see coming from me. I'm going to show it more on video. I'm going to show it more on social media because that's what I know I need to do to get this information out there. So stay tuned to all of those. I will keep you updated. If you're in my, ecosystem and you're getting my emails and you're getting my newsletters, you will continue to get that. And if you opt out, I totally get it. But I do want to continue to educate people. So I hope you stay tuned for that. I hope you listen to it. I hope that's something that you're going to enjoy.
Friends, I have such an exciting product that I need to share with you. Are you someone who hates washing their face at night? Yep, that's me. For years, I never wanted to wash my face. And finally, I found a product that actually gets me excited to wash my face every night, and that is Clear Stem. I have tried so many products over the years to find the one that I truly love, the one that makes my skin glow, the one that makes me feel good when I wash it, and the one that gets me excited to want to wash my face. I discovered Clear Stem through another podcaster, and I was like, I got to give this a try. I instantly became obsessed. Some of my favorite products are the hydrating cleanser, which I use every night. It smells delicious. It makes my skin feel so great. Once a week, I use their Vita Scrub, which is an exfoliating cleanser, and that just has these little micro beads in it that just make your face feel so beautiful. I can just feel them get into my pores and really give my face this huge glow. And then one of my other favorite products is the Hydra Berry mask. And once you wash your face, you put a layer of this on your skin and you go to sleep and you wake up and your face feels like butter. I get so many compliments on my skin now. I don't get a lot of breakouts anymore. My face feels nice and hydrated and bright, and it's all because of the Clear Stem product. What I love about them is that their products are all clean. They're good for your skin, they're good for your body, and they have so many different product lines based on the type of skin you have. So go down in the show notes, click on the link. I'm giving 15% off to anybody who uses my code, and I promise you, once you try this, you are going to be obsessed just as much I am. So again, go down to the show notes, click on the link, receive 15% off, and give Clear Stem a try. I promise you will not regret it.
The other thing that I wanted to talk about is 2025 for me was a great year, but I would say it was probably one of my hardest years. If I'm, the one thing about this podcast is I've always shown up and I've always been authentic and I've always been real and I don't sugarcoat anything and I don't lie. So I'm going to give you a little bit of where I'm at mentally. This year has been a huge struggle for me. I don't know if it's me being 43 and my own hormones and perimenopause, which I'm sure that has a lot to do with it, but also being on hormones up and down for my surrogacy journey, which we'll get into that in a minute. I've really have been struggling. And between the hustling of having to be the financial person in our family, because my husband is still out on disability from a back injury that he had at work 2 years ago, or he had surgery 2 years ago. It's been a lot for me to carry the financial load, the business load, the home load of things. And I think that I finally hit a wall where I couldn't continue to be like, I got this, I got this, I got this. I don't got this anymore. I don't want to get this anymore. I don't want to be the hustler. I don't want to do the work that doesn't fulfill me because we need money. I really just I needed a minute. And between my retreats that I've attended, as a guest, or just leading them and being in the room with these women, have really kind of shed some light on me. I continue to listen to podcasts and read books, but I really realized what a deep anxiety and depression that I was in, especially the last, I would say, 4 to 5 months. I'm slowly crawling my way out. I cannot say that I'm 100%, but I'm definitely making strides. I'm doing things more that fill my cup. I've brought in meditation because I felt so much anxiety and weight in my chest that I like literally couldn't breathe some days. And so doing more of that. I've been going on walks more. And because of this surrogacy journey, I haven't been drinking as much, which has been very helpful for me. And therapy. My husband and I are in therapy. I'm getting my own therapist just to help navigate some of the hard things. My husband and I have been through a hell of a lot over the past, we've been together, it'll be 10 years next month, and we've been through a lot. And someday I will be here to tell all of the stories, the good, the bad, the ugly. But unfortunately, there's some things I cannot share at the moment. But we've been through a lot, and I don't think there's anything wrong with getting help or support outside of your community or your walls, because it does help you understand yourself and understand the other person and kind of get you guys back on track. So, as I said, I'm not 100%, but I'm definitely making strides. I could tell that where I sat in my life was not benefiting my marriage. It wasn't benefiting my kids at all. And it wasn't benefiting my friends. I could tell that I was a different person. I could tell that I wasn't present. I could tell that I wasn't myself. And that is something that I truly, deep down in my soul, am really trying to change and being more mindful. And I want to be more happy. I want to have more fun. I want to do things that fuel my soul. I don't want to be financially stressed anymore. So these are all things that I have discovered over this last year, and things that are have been is being a high priority for me this year is really making sure that I'm taking care of myself, taking care of my family, slowing the hell down, being present, being less on social media, really being present and finding the things that light me up again. And so this year we've made it a promise to, my husband and I had talked about doing more camping or more smaller trips or things with our kids, because, we get so busy in the day to day with sports and school that sometimes we forget to slow down and enjoy each other. So we definitely want to do more of that. And so that is something that is a full like focus for me. I just want to say that if you're a woman listening and you have felt the same, because I would say 80% of my friends are in the same boat of feeling that struggle, really sit down and reflect. I mean, I really think sitting down and understanding where you want to go and the things that make you happy and bring you joy, those are the things that you need to put more energy in. The things that are not benefiting you, whether that's a person or something you're doing, a job, a habit, I really think that you have the power to control that, to take that narrative and change it. And whether that's one thing or five, but really ultimately, like I can sit here and wallow in depression and be upset, but really, like it's for me to take control of and change it. No one else is going to change it for me except for myself. And so that is something that I am very mindful of right now and doing the things to move forward. Being in the rooms with the people that I need to be in, hanging out and spending time with the people that really make me feel good, getting in rooms of people who are at another level than I am, really being intentional about those things. And so that's something that I have learned and am have on the forefront. I just wanted, if you're in the same boat, to really look at your life and look at those things and really figure out what it is that need to kind of move the needle. And if you ever want and feel stuck or want to get a cup of coffee, and I'm totally open to that. I think if we continue to do these women retreats, those are great ways to break through, or just doing more things for yourself. Maybe that's, listening to podcasts or reading and things like that. So I just wanted to put that out there that you are in control of the things that are bothering you. I, for so long, was just hoping someone was going to save me, and nobody was. So I needed to just acknowledge it, understand it, and move past it. So those are some of the things that I've really have been aware of and want to focus on for 2026. So those are kind of my goals. I keep looking over here because I have my vision board that I've created for 2026 because I am doing a vision board party this weekend. So I had to have it all ready, but it's a visual of what I want my year to look like, what I want to focus on. And so having this as a daily reminder helps me to understand where I'm going and where I need to go. So I just wanted to share that. That is the power of vision boards. And I'm telling you, when you put that stuff on there and you look at it every day or you write it in your journal every day, it's crazy what comes true. I mean, I love when I get to peel off things because they've been on my vision board for maybe a year or maybe a couple years. And when it comes through, I get to pull it off. That $1 million one, that's up there. That's coming. It's coming off soon. So I just have some notes over here. So I just wanted to kind of let everyone know where I'm at. And the last thing that I wanted to touch base on, because I know so many of you are wondering, is about my surrogacy journey. So let me take a sip of coffee. Okay. I'm going to try and give everyone, if you're new here, welcome. If you have been following my story, here's an update. For just a quick little recap, I've been a surrogate before. I had that baby back in 2020, so it's almost 6 years now. I've decided to go do a second journey. I was not out searching for it. I just had an opportunity come to me, and I fell in love with this couple. It's two men out of San Francisco, and they are the most sweet and amazing men that I've met. And I'm really excited for this journey with them. However, it's been taking a very long time. So we've met almost, I think it's been 2 years now. I think we just signed our contract back almost a year ago and didn't start our transfer journey until May of 2025. So May of 2025, I went in and I had my first transfer with this family. And unfortunately, it didn't take. I believe I had a miscarriage or a chemical pregnancy because it said that I was pregnant, but my hormone levels were elevated and dropped, so which indicates a miscarriage. Went in, tried again in the end of August for my second transfer. Same thing. Got was pregnant, but the levels didn't um, they didn't grow, which meant that I was having a miscarriage. Both of those incidents have nothing to do with me. I mean, people ask me all the time, like, how are you feeling? I feel fine. This could be its own podcast topic about how I had mentally prepared for this journey or even the last journey, but I know that this babies are not mine. And so yes, as hard as it is to like go through all these hormones and travel and do the transfer and there's so many things you have to give up during this process to be let down with a baby that's not growing is of course very hard. And it's hard for me because I feel bad for the parents because they really want this baby. So but it was nothing that I did wrong. I did everything right. I've done the hormones. I've done everything that I'm supposed to be. And just unfortunately, the embryos were just not strong enough to develop. Fast forward to our third journey, our third transfer, which was back in the early part of December. And it's so hard because this journey I've committed to showing up and telling everybody about it. I did more on TikTok because I want to tell people about this journey. This month has been really hard for me to communicate just because there has been so many ups and downs. And I think that's the one thing that I've realized is putting your story out there. You have to continue to do it, whether it's hard or not. And so this one I definitely have been very quiet for a while, only because there were so many unknowns. So I went in for the transfer. 10 days after the transfer, you go in for your first blood work, and they determined like a baseline hormone level. And mine obviously showed that I was pregnant, but it was very low. They wanted the number over 100. It was at 11. However, the way pregnancies work. And it's so interesting because when you are just getting pregnant and having a baby without IVF or anybody monitoring anything, it's such a different experience than when you are being monitored by your blood work. And so you go in, you get your blood work, you have to wait like 24 hours to come back to understand where you're at. Well, what they want to do is in 2 days, you go back again and your numbers need to double. And so what happens in the beginning of pregnancy is that every 2 days your hormone levels double, which means that it's going in the right direction. My numbers were doubling each time I got blood work. However, they were still low. So what that meant was either I was having a miscarriage, which didn't make sense yet because my hormones were doubling, or I was going to have an ectopic pregnancy. The problem was that anybody who's been pregnant, you can't really go get an ultrasound. Like if you go get an ultrasound, you have to wait like 7 to 8 weeks till you can actually see something. You can see the baby, you can see a heartbeat. And I hadn't hit that threshold yet. While the embryo is further along and my pregnancy is further along with IVF, I still wasn't there yet. So finally I got there. So in my head, I'm pregnant. I'm feeling the symptoms. My breast hurt. I'm like sweating all the time. I'm nauseous at night. I'm very exhausted. So I knew that I was. And so we go in for an ultrasound and she's like, there's nothing here. And I'm like, what? And she's like, nothing. Like, I'm like, there's not even, she's like, nothing. And so back to the drawing board, more blood work. However, my numbers still kept doubling. And so we were like, okay, I must have an ectopic pregnancy. So finally, because I was deemed pregnant, I was able to go into my Kaiser network, which is where my OB is, which I absolutely adore her. Shouts out to Kaiser because I have had nothing but great experiences with them. But I went in for my second ultrasound and she's like, Heather, there's nothing here, which either means one, you're gonna have a miscarriage, or two, it's in an ectopic pregnancy, which means it's in your fallopian tubes, which is very dangerous because what happens is if it grows there, then it could burst and I could technically die if the blood, if it explodes and there's blood in my stomach and it's like a surgery, it's a whole thing. So she was very adamant when I was there that we needed to figure out a next step because either way, I wasn't pregnant or it wasn't a viable pregnancy. So we needed to figure out what that was going to look like. And so she had recommended doing a DNC right away because that would have determined if the baby was in the uterus or not. And if it wasn't, then it was an ectopic pregnancy. It was so hard during that time because I have my OB who's looking out for my best interest, but I am on a contract with a family plus a fertility doctor that's involved. So all of the decisions really needed to be run through them. So this was a Friday. At that point, I knew that I wasn't pregnant. And so come Monday, after back and forth with the doctors, talking to the fertility doctor, they decided the best route would be to give me the medication to terminate the pregnancy because no matter where it was, it would have terminated it. And they obviously want to terminate it if it was in my fallopian tubes. So I did that on Monday, which was an experience because I had to go in. They did a biopsy, which is super uncomfortable. Then I had to go get more blood work. And then basically it was like 2 shots in my lower back, which is already sore and already swollen from all of the hormone shots. And it was a lot. And then I was on like last week I was on a restrictive diet of different things that I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat anything with folic acid, which was like gluten, and there's a lot of vegetables that I couldn't eat. And so I had massive migraines last week. That was really my only symptom was the headaches. But I am officially, well, it still shows I have hormones, but I am officially not pregnant. So we are on a hold right now. Because I took the medication, now I have to wait 3 months to try and get pregnant again. Our contract is officially actually ended because we've already transferred 3 embryos, and I need to go back to San Diego for a new medical screening because it's been over a year. So all of those things need to be done to figure out next steps. So I don't have an answer of what's to come. Of course, I want to continue to try and give this family a baby, but I don't know what that looks like and when that looks like. It is at least a minimum of 7 months or 3 months. So in this time, I really just need to focus on my health. I want to start working out. I need to drop some weight. The hormones really added some pounds to me. I call myself fluffy right now. So I just want to feel a little bit more healthier and a better weight zone. So just going to be focusing on that, and then obviously regulating my hormones, which have been all over the place. So that is my surrogacy journey. Once I know more, hopefully after this next my next season of this podcast, I will be able to share some great news with you guys. But until then, we're all in suspense and we're all gonna have to wait. So that was my 2025 in a nutshell. I had a lot of great things. It was I got a lot of clarity. I again worked with some great clients. But I'm really excited for 2026. I'm very clear of where I want my career to go. I'm very clear about the directions my businesses are going. I'm very clear that I need to be intentional and show up better as a mom and as a wife and as a friend and as a community leader. So that is a very big focus of mine for this year. And I truly believe in manifesting and putting it out there so everyone knows and can hold me responsible. So I hope you enjoy these types of podcasts. I enjoy recording them. It just gives me, again, the space to get clear and to share my journey. And I hope that somewhere along the way, you've picked up some little nuggets of things that you might be able to apply to your own life. Again, I'm here for any kind of support. I am hoping to do more in-person things. I'm not quite sure what that's going to look like, but I want to continue to show up for people and to be a support and to be inspiration. And we'll continue to bring women on the show that will continue to do that for you. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And next time I see you, I will have a whole new podcast name and brand. So stay tuned for that. And again, thank you for always supporting me. If this is an episode that you love, please go back and share it on social media, send it to a friend. The other thing that if you have been a loyal listener, which I know I have a bunch out there, if you could please go to any platform that you listen on and just do a quick review. Those reviews really do help. They help, grow my podcast to a different rank. And I always love to see those comments to know that the work that I'm doing is actually working. So thank you all again. I hope everyone has an amazing 2026. Let's go out there and let's kill it.